So it's nice to meet you, Matt.
I wrote this for you too. It looks like you probably need that. So.
Just real quick, and I have a couple of follow-up questions. Can you tell me about the exciting news about the automated door openings? It sounds like it's really successful, and I just want to follow up with, we've got a couple of horror stories. Obviously, it's a complicated system, you got to work out kinks, but can you just tell me the exciting news that you mentioned, 1.5 million or something?
So basically, we started about 6 months ago on the red line.
This is a really bad spot for this mic.
Yeah, we started about 6 months ago on the red line, give or take. So we've had 1.5, give or take, million safe door openings. I mean, it's a safety system, so that's what we're really excited. It makes a much safer system, so someone can't manually open the doors on the wrong side. That's what's so good about it. The secondary benefits are obviously speed and reliability. We've noticed a 7% increase on-time performance on the red line since we implemented. So 0 safety issues, if anything, it's safer, and that much reliability. We went live this week on all the other lines. Significant 0 safety issues all week. Every system has been reported working correctly. And again, people are saving trip time, and all of our operations are kind of working better. So we're really excited. It took 16 years ago. Quite frankly, it was turned off, and probably should have get back on at some point, but we're really proud of the team to get it back going. So that's the exciting thing this week, for sure.
I'll follow if I may. We did have a report today, and it was sent to WMATA, and they responded by saying, we're investigating this. Thank you for the heads up, sorry for the inconvenience. Train pulls in this morning, 8:30 to Roslyn. The doors open and close immediately, and then take right off. So all those passengers on that particular train had to obviously go to Foggy Bottom, turn around, another train, come back, and get off of Roslyn. So in this case, and we have somebody who was on the train, who said doors open, as they should, immediately close, train took off. And then we have other issues where the doors aren't opening correctly, and then there's a pause, and it's my understanding they have to go to manual at that point. Please correct me if I'm wrong. They have to go to manual to open up the door. So those are the two things that we have heard.
Yeah, I can't comment on the first piece because I'm not familiar with both. So if someone has already replied, then that'll be investigated. It sounds like the thing you're referencing would be an operator potentially close the doors too quickly, which would have nothing to do with the automated door feature. It's just an operator clicking the button too fast. From time to time that may happen, and then what we would do is either retrain that operator or see what circumstances relate to that. So again, and that's even if it happened. I have no idea what the circumstances are. So we'll pull all the video and pull the logs from the train and see what happens, which we do a deep investigation on every kind of complaint. The process, if automated doors are not working, it's not a safety issue, that'd be a reliability issue. It'd be like, say, a window in your car wasn't working, you gotta take it to the shop. What we would do is go into manual operation. So they would call a control center, say, hey, this feature isn't working. We just go to manual operation, which is every way we've run trains up until today, up until Monday for the last 16 years. So it wouldn't like regress. We just go back to that manual operation. So it's kind of like a belt suspender approach. Got the automated technology, and then you go back to the manual operation if needed. Once in a while, some piece of equipment could be a connection to the signal on the side that's just not reading correctly. They go to manual operation, and then if that still was persisting, they would fix it at the shop, or it could be a place at that station that they go and look at a piece of equipment. It could be a frequency or something. So,
but in general, you haven't heard too many issues.
I've heard 0 issues. You're the first, and again, I can't speak if that even is an issue because we've heard from someone that said something, but that'll get looked at if it's been reported to the agency, and we'll go through it. And if it is something, then we'll figure out what it was and deal with it.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
I can assure you it happened because we know the person who it happened to.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm just saying I can't speak to that because I haven't, if I saw a video of it happening, then I could say it happened. But, you know, unless it's just the person is not telling the truth, I just can't personally vouch for that at the moment. So that's why we do the investigation. So, yeah.
Rachel.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Rachel, do you want to go with a question?
Yeah, thanks. I'm just writing something on the end of public comment on the Better Bus program Monday, and I was hoping you could say a little bit about, people who are not happy that their bus stop is closing. I know the councilwoman I've worked for has said that she thinks some of the places that some of the stops kids use to go to school, I think a deal in particular, are being cut. And I guess, if you could just speak to sort of, how likely is it that some of these stops will remain if people advocate for them? And if not, can we sort of, just say what the thinking is and explains why they're being eliminated?
Yeah, well, thanks for the question. So what I would say is all bus network redesigns are somewhat complicated because we're trying to basically modernize something that hasn't really been touched in 30 or 40 years in a lot of ways. And lots of development or where people live or schools or hospitals or big work or sporting event locations have changed over that period of time. So unfortunately, this wasn't done kind of incrementally over decades, and we're doing one big lift. This is very similar to every other transit agency in the country. Has either done it or is going through the process. So it's very important. Our goal is obviously to use the resources we have to serve more people. And so we've done that through a really significant equity lens, making sure specifically lower income people, people of color, people that have limited other transportation opportunities have the best service that we could possibly deliver. Goes to our regional goals as getting people out of cars, helping climate, all of those things. So the real process here is to use the limited amount of buses and operators we have to provide the most amount of service. So when that happens, sometimes there are changes. Some people like change, some people dislike change. It's obviously a little bit eye of the beholder. That is why the public comment process is so important. This is the third round. The last round, we got a lot of feedback. I would say overwhelmingly positive, but pockets of, concern. We made tweaks related to that concern. Sometimes the concern is very legitimate, and we make some tweaks. It could be a stop specific, a block specific, a street specific. Other times those are concerns, but other people in the same block actually really like the service change, and some people don't. And we got to balance that with where do we put these buses to move the most amount of people with the resources we have. The last thing I would say on that is our goal is to deliver more bus service. This is a budget neutral bus network redesign. We clearly would like the visionary network, which is a little over 30% more bus service. That is what the region ultimately needs long term. So hopefully in our DMV moves process, we'll be able to secure some long-term funding and advance a larger bus network, which will connect even more people. Because remember, part of what we're doing here is not just frequency adjustments, but we're also trying to do span of hours and span of days. We have places where there's no service after 7, 8 o'clock at night. The service you get Monday to Friday doesn't exist Saturday or Sunday, or just Saturday, not Sunday. So we are trying to serve more people fairly across the region with that mindset. So.
Yeah. Can we also talk the nights and weekends? That's because I guess part right, just like the Metro Rail ridership on nights and weekends has gone up. And am I wrong, or it's sort of a bigger proportion of ridership than before the pandemic?
I guess I'm not. They're really not connected that way. I guess what we're trying to do is we're trying to serve people. So historically, Metro served people really well for, like, if you will, downtown centric, office centric, commuter centric transportation. And this agency changed the bus network a little bit in 2019, and now this is the kind of larger change. We also, about 2 years ago, implemented a pretty significant difference on the rail system. So we run a lot more service on the weekends and evenings than we used to. And that has resulted in a massive ridership gain on the evenings, especially weekends on rail. We expect to see that, maybe that's to your point, on weekends on bus. But it's also, again, back to an equity access to opportunity situation, which is not everyone works Monday to Friday in an office downtown. Overwhelming majority of people in our region need to move 7 days a week, not just 5 days a week. And so we're trying to create opportunities where people can actually get to school, get to a hospital, get to a job, on a Saturday equal to like a Tuesday. Okay? You got another?
Yeah. From Tom, stuff that he's been working on. So the question is right, and forgive me, I want to make sure I get it right.
No worries.
Right now, you're facing criticism and investigations from Congress over both the treatment of your inspectors general and your reluctance to hand over documents wanted by the Washington Metro Safety Commission. Why have you done both of these things, and how can riders know that they're safe if you're not cooperating with the people who are supposed to be holding you accountable? And have you turned over to Congress the documents they've demanded?
I can do the safety one if you want. Okay. I made this comment multiple times to Tom. I don't know how else to explain it, which is we're working very collaboratively with the WMSC. We expect our appreciate that they have a specific role to do. We don't really have anything more to comment on it. They're looking for drug and alcohol access to records. We've given them all those records, all access to that. It feels like someone's trying to make a bigger story than something that isn't, quite frankly. We're working very collaborative with them. We went back to automatic door operation with their concurrence. We work with them every day, every week. So we're working with them on all topics, and you know, it's a very collaborative relationship, understanding that they have a different role than we have, and we appreciate that they're there to do oversight of safety.
The documents?
As I just mentioned, they have access to all the drug and alcohol documents that they requested in the letter. So
Do you know what that is for drug and alcohol?
it's a component of what we do for an organization. It's just part of an audit process. Yeah. I'll defer to the chair to speak to the OIG issue.
Please.
Yeah, as general manager, I don't have a role in the inspector.
Sure. So in terms of the Inspector General, we are delighted that we have a new IG who was recently hired and started a few weeks ago, Michelle Zamrin, who has impeccable credentials and has already brought tremendous energy and perspective to the role. And for sure, particularly with a new chair coming in, we are looking forward to working together in our capacities to address any concerns that have come up in the past and to rectify as necessary any either perception or reality of any inappropriate constraints on independence, because that we philosophically think it's important and look forward to working well moving forward. So.
And then just one quick follow-up question. This might be a little awkward. Why was Mr. Smedberg replaced by Ms. Santos?
Well, it sounds like the deliberations of the board, every year the board is required to, as part of our bylaws, to organize itself in terms of committees. And as part of the deliberations this year, my fellow board members voted me in to serve as chair. Director Smedberg Paul is fantastic, and as I think you were present today when we just celebrated his significant achievements, his leadership in his term as board chair. So this in no way reflects any sort of issue or it's just part of our process. So
It doesn't reflect any of the controversial exits of the inspectors general.
no, our board, again, as part of our internal deliberations, just organize ourselves into committees. So